Welcome to Epic Stock Due Diligence. Please subscribe at youtube.com/EpicStockDD. Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another potentially entertaining episode of Epic Stock Due Diligence. And if you haven't subscribed already, that's youtube.com/EpicStockDD. And be sure to ring that bell icon when you do, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Now this video and all videos on my channel, I'm sharing for entertainment purposes only. They should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security. I'm sharing all of these videos for entertainment purposes only. So let's go ahead and segue into the topic of this video, and that is letter of intent, often referred to as an LOI, or in some cases an LOL. Get it? Laughing out loud. Ha ha ha. So what is a letter of intent, and why is a letter of intent so important when it comes to penny stocks? So a letter of intent, and let's just break it down, intent and letter. So we're looking at intent. It's like, well, I plan to make several $1 million this year. I plan to buy a yacht. I plan to go to the moon. Have a lot of plans. Think of a letter of intent as the same thing. Just because it's a letter, which makes it seem to be official, doesn't mean that any of the contents within will ever materialize. So when we're looking at penny stocks, the way that a lot of less than desirable penny stock companies, and most of your penny stocks are scams, that's the unfortunate truth, but most of the penny stocks that issue a letter of intent, it's just a bunch of forward-looking statements. So again, I don't talk about actual ticker symbols within my videos. I'm concerned about talking about penny stocks and trying to gain a better understanding of penny stocks for fun. Penny stocks are a lot of fun. So looking at the letter of intent, let's create a fictitious scenario. So there's a company, and we'll just call it fictitious ticker symbol XYZ, and they make, let's say they make, I don't know, just trying to come up with some sort of industry here. They make, let's say, bicycles. So this bicycle manufacturing company, just a bottom of the barrel, pink sheet stock, probably 000 price per share, 000 5, 000, a fraction of a penny. So they manufacture bicycles, but all of a sudden they release this letter of intent that they intend, and again, all of this is fictitious, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to illustrate what a letter of intent is when it, as it applies to penny stocks. But this bicycle manufacturing company, they publish a letter of intent, and they're acquiring this really big solar technology. There aren't a lot of specifics in it. It's basically, fictitious bicycle company XYZ, letter of intent, plans to acquire solar technology for their upcoming ABC version of the bicycle. And this bicycle will have all of these solar features. It's renewable energy, and their plan is to have an electric bicycle that'll recharge itself within 6 hours. That's what they plan to do, what they hope to accomplish by acquiring this solar technology. So it's a bunch of, to look at it, the false perception is that, okay, they're already manufacturing bicycles, but now they're about to penetrate the EV, the electric, well, not EV, that would be electric vehicle, but I guess technically it could be, the electric bicycle space. They're about to penetrate that with a technology that will enable that bicycle to recharge its electric motor while you're at work, while you're in wherever shopping or whatever. So on paper, and when it's vocalized among fellow penny stock traders, it sounds really cool because it's like, okay, you're taking a technology that's really popular, which is solar power. You're taking an affordable means of transportation that's been around forever, but you're making it better than an electric bicycle. by adding the component to where it can recharge its electric batteries while you're shopping or at work or whatever. So, the whole story that this letter of intent has painted is quite impressive. It's like, it sounds really good because it makes sense. I mean, electric bicycle, something that can recharge for free by way of the sun, it's a win-win. The reality of that, though, is that those are just all window dressings, more than likely. So in this fictitious scenario, it would have been easy for myself, or would have been easy for other traders to go out and share that letter of intent. And your less experienced penny stock traders, they may hear that in the forums and comment like, to the moon, wow, this one's going up, penny next week, 25 cents, mark my words. All of those types of comments from the less experienced penny stock traders. Now the smart money, the smart speculative money, I must say, they look at that and they say, okay, this sounds good. It does make sense. It is something that would be an improvement upon existing electric bicycles. However, is it doable? And again, look back at that letter of intent. If you further digest that in there, yeah, it sounds great. But in reality, it's just a bunch of forward-looking statements that probably won't materialize. And that's the important component for performing your own due diligence, is looking at that and saying, okay, this is great. Take off the rose-colored glasses, dude. Take them off and look at that letter of intent and say, okay, well, first of all, a bicycle is a very small thing. How is it going to be able to accommodate solar panels that are large enough to recharge this thing in the few hours that someone's at work, or a few minutes that someone's in the store? And then you got to take into account, the batteries. Where are all the batteries that the solar panel is topping off? Where are those batteries going to fit within the bicycle? Because what you may find out in this fictitious example is that if there are extremely efficient solar panels that may be able to be, let's just say hypothetically, mounted to the frame of a bicycle, maybe a somewhat large but manageable size solar panel that's over the handlebars, even if you were able to put a ton of highly efficient solar panels, attach them to a bicycle, and really keep the overall footprint of that bicycle down to where, obviously you're riding a bicycle. You don't want something as large as a car. I mean, the whole goal here is to have something small and lightweight that's easy to pull up at the grocery store or wherever you work and just park in a bicycle parking space. And then that brings up the next thing. If that technology, if the technology does exist that would allow this bicycle to rapidly recharge itself while parked, what's the cost going to be? It could become something that's so cost prohibitive that potentially you're getting the price point up there close to what a lower end vehicle may cost. Now, would you rather be driving a lower end vehicle or a souped up bicycle that's easy for someone to steal, or easy for someone to rip those expensive batteries and or solar components off of? So there's a lot of stuff in this example of a letter of intent where, even if it did materialize, maybe it would be a situation where it's not ready for the mass market, meaning that the cost could be so prohibitive that only a few people may pick it up as a novelty. And again, who really wants to pick up a tricked out solar rechargeable bicycle when they could spend that money on something more convenient? So the letter of intent, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bunch of fluff, but it means that you really should dig through and say, okay, is this even if you're not super savvy? And my thing is with penny stocks, I don't speculate with technologies that I don't understand. So if I was going to speculate with something like that, I would have to have a deep understanding of solar panels. I would have to have a deep understanding of batteries that solar panels charge. I'd have to have a deep understanding of bicycles. So, there's a lot of stuff I would have to have. Now, and again, in that letter of intent, it could be accurate, but it could be a bunch of fluff, because the other direction that could take could be, there could be a follow-up press release from the company saying, and again, all of this is fictitious, but they could say, we've acquired the solar technology and we're still working on sourcing the battery. So they could have the company could have level 2 of this pump, and they could have legitimately sourced the correct solar panels for this, but then a few months later the whole thing may die, and they may say, well, project's been scratched because we couldn't find a battery that had enough capacity to be able to do this, so we've abandoned all future business plans. So, or they could release it, but they could release it in a way to where it's limited consumers. And obviously for a penny stock speculator, if something's not being sold to a bunch of people and the company's not profitable, what's the point with speculating with it? So, letters of intent are often crafted. I mean, legally they're not. Some of them may be, and those are the people that end up in jail. But typically they're not crafted to deceive. Although oftentimes they are crafted for the purpose of deceiving. And it's one of those deals where, since it's a letter of intent, it's not saying will or it's, instead of saying will do, they'll say like plan to or intend to. Instead of saying they can't say anything certain. It's just a bunch of forward-looking statements. So just a great way for penny stock companies to create buzz. But again, the traders, hopefully like you and hopefully like myself, that perform their own exhaustive amount of due diligence, can quickly decipher that, hey, this is a letter of intent and this is why it probably won't work. But there are some examples where a letter of intent's put out ahead of formal news. So an example of that may be, say there's going to be some sort of acquisition, and fictitious company XYZ says that they plan to acquire fictitious company ABC within X number of weeks or whatever, and they may put that out there ahead of an actual acquisition, and that could be legitimate, and they could be doing it just for the sake of informing their investors that this is something they intend to do. But since they have not yet inked all the official legal mumbo jumbo to make that happen, they just want to put out a letter of intent, letting people know of what they plan to have happen within the next few weeks or next few months. And the other thing is, scam companies, scam penny stocks, they may put something out like that. They may have had a hallway conversation with somebody that's something that sounds big. Trying to think of a good example here. So just talk about, a popular, let's just talk about a popular soft drink or something. I'm not going to drop specific brands, but say that the most popular brand is brand A, but there's a brand X that sounds almost identical to brand A. So in that scenario, what may happen is that a company may put out a letter of intent saying that we've struck we plan to start a joint venture with company X, and when people read that letter of intent and they see company X, it sounds so similar to company A that your inexperienced penny stock trader just assumes that, oh, that must be the same thing. But your smart traders look at it and say, oh, they're talking about company X, not A. So this letter of intent was put out with all of this exciting verbiage to create buzz that, upon more thorough analysis, it should be easy for any trader to decipher that that X is the no-name knockoff brand of the soda that sounds almost the same when it's communicated as leading brand A. So there's in penny stocks, and again, especially your pink sheets, most of the time they're pump and dumps. Most of the time they're complete scams. And letters of intent are a big component of those pump and dumps, because letters of intent, just because a company plans to do something doesn't mean that it'll ever materialize. And a company, again, they could say they plan to do something, and maybe they throw a couple $100 at the objective that they're trying to achieve, just to verifiably say, maybe they throw the company throws a couple $100 towards the next steps, just to verifiably be able to say, oh, we were working towards our goal. You know, we intended to accomplish whatever, but knowing that to accomplish it in a satisfactory fashion instead of a couple $100 probably would have cost, let's just say $200,000. So, you know, they threw a piddly amount of money at it just to document that they, you know, took the next step. They intended to accomplish something, but in reality, all along, they probably knew that they had zero intentions of doing that. Their whole plan was to release this letter of intent to create buzz, and then as a company, you know, they wanted to follow through and at least do something on paper where they could say, oh yeah, we took the next step. You know, we invested a little bit of money, and then we decided that, you know, even though our intentions were to accomplish that it wasn't doable. So, you know, if you've been around the block with penny stocks, this is just the type of thing. These are just a few types of scenarios, some more convincing than others, that, you know, one may encounter in the penny stock world. And again, the penny stock world, I'm not trying to give it a bad name because it's already got a horrible name. Rightfully so. I mean, penny stocks are, for the most part, they're pump and dumps. I mean, that's a sad reality. But, you know, with that being the case, penny stocks, at least for me, it's you know, I like to entertain myself in unique ways, and there's few things more entertaining than penny stocks because there is so much fluff, there's so much detective work that can be performed, and there are diamonds in the rough every now and then. And when those diamonds in the rough are found, I mean, there's opportunity for amazing profits. But again, always expect to lose it all, because that's probably what's going to happen. And again, this video, all my videos are for entertainment purposes only. They should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security. I just like to have fun and talk about penny stocks. Tell me what you think within the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/EpicStockDD. Oh, hiccups. And when you do, ring that bell icon and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/EpicStockDD, and ring that bell icon when you do, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.